Schools have been teaching you that some tenses do not have passive voice as a rule. Those tenses are perfect continuous forms of past, present, and future, and the future continuous. But that's not actually true. There's no such rule in English. These forms do exist in passive voice. They are just rarely used because they become hard to understand. The use of multiple to be verbs makes communication less clear, which keeps more precedence than promoting an object to a subject. For example, if I said, you have been being taught by schools that some tenses do not have passive voice, that have been being makes it harder to process. So passive voice doesn't disappear in some tenses, it just becomes impractical. Now that we have cleared that up, let's quickly understand how active voice and passive voice actually work. So this makes complete sense. In passive voice, the object is given more importance by being promoted to the subject. This is done because in English, the subject position carries more focus than the object. For a sentence to be transformed into passive voice, it must have an intransitive verb and have an object. A transitive verb is an verb that acts on something or have a direct object. For example, to throw is a transitive verb because you throw something. There is always an object involved. On the other hand, to arrive is intransitive because it does not take a direct object. Now here's an example where I've tried to use passive voice as much as I could. The man's steps were slow as he reached his door, exhaustion clinging to him after a long day. The house was unusually quiet. As the door was pushed open, darkness greeted him. Strange, he murmured. Before another thought could be formed, the lights were switched on, and the chorus of Happy Birthday filled the air. For a moment he stood frozen. The room was decorated with soft lights and handmade banners. A cake had been placed at the center, slightly uneven, as it had been made in a hurry, but with care. His wife stood smiling, his kids trying to hold back laughter, and his old friends were gathered behind him. He hadn't told anyone it was his birthday this year. I thought it would be forgotten, he said quietly. It could never be, his wife replied. A warmth was felt in his chest, deeper than words could express. The tiredness was replaced, not by excitement, but by something softer, belonging. As the first slice of cake was offered to him, it wasn't just a celebration that has been shared. It was love, carefully planned and quietly given.